The discipline of a soldier is not an innate gift, but the result of a rigorous technique cultivated day after day until it becomes an inseparable part of their identity. It does not arise from impulses or natural talents, but from conscious choices repeated with obstinacy. In the midst of the battlefield, facing demanding orders, or in the tense silence of a night watch, what sustains the soldier is not just physical strength, but a mental and emotional structure precisely shaped. This silent technique, often invisible to external eyes, is based on three fundamental pillars: intentional routine, extreme self-control, and total commitment to a greater purpose. From the first day in the barracks, the soldier is confronted with a new way of being. It is not just about learning combat tactics or handling weaponry, but adopting a new rhythm, a new logic. Waking up before the sun rises is not an option or a personal preference. It is an order. This seemingly rigid schedule carries powerful symbolism. It inaugurates a day that does not belong to chance, but to intention. Everything takes on a deliberate purpose, from the way the blanket is folded to the cadence of the march, from cleaning the barracks to the care taken with each button of the uniform. These small acts, repeated with daily precision, serve to condition the mind to focus, diligence, and responsibility. It is not about blind obedience, but about building a character capable of acting with firmness and clarity, even when everything around them collapses. A soldier does not just follow orders, they internalize values. The tireless repetition of seemingly mundane actions, keeping the environment clean, aligning boots with precision, checking weapons, teaches that excellence does not begin with great deeds, but in faithfulness to the details. And who is faithful in little is trustworthy in much. This daily discipline teaches respect for one's own space and consequently for the shared spaces with others. Thus, a silent ethics of coexistence emerges, naturally extending to hierarchy, comrades, and mission. Discipline reveals itself as a cultivated virtue, not as imposition. And when the order comes, the soldier does not hesitate. They have trained that response 1,000 times. There is no room for indecision. Their body and mind act in unison, not out of impulse, but out of decision. They are not guided by fear, pain, or doubt. They are guided by duty. Behind this readiness lies one of the most fundamental skills taught in the armed forces: self-control. During training, the soldier is exposed to situations of extreme fatigue, hunger, unbearable heat, biting cold, profound solitude, and intense psychological pressure. And most importantly, there is no escape route. They are constantly invited to confront the limit and go beyond it. This controlled exposure to discomfort teaches that pain does not define the end, and that fear does not need to be the guide. When the urge to give up appears, the training responds for them. It is at this point that discipline reveals its true strength. It does not depend on the mood of the moment or on fleeting emotion. It was forged in the prior decision, made in silence, away from applause and visibility. It is the decision to stand firm, even when everything seems to invite surrender. This firmness becomes an inner fortress that cannot be destroyed by external factors. The soldier learns to trust more in the constancy of duty than in the oscillation of desire. They learn that character is not what one does when everything is fine, but what one upholds when everything seems to crumble. This discipline transcends the military environment. It becomes a principle of life. The ex-soldier, the veteran, or even the young recruit in training forever carries this inner structure: clarity of objectives, persistence in processes, courage in the face of challenges, and above all, the willingness to serve something greater than themselves. In a world marked by haste, immediacy, and easy surrender, the figure of the disciplined soldier reminds us that great values are not fruits of chance, but of daily choice for what builds, strengthens, and honors. Being a soldier, therefore, is more than wearing a uniform. It is to assume an identity rooted in virtues that time does not erase: loyalty, honor, courage, righteousness, and self-mastery. And the solid foundation where all of this rests is discipline. Not the kind that oppresses, but the kind that frees the individual from their own limitations. Because, in the end, true freedom is not in doing everything one wants, but in having the strength to do, every day, what is right. Internal control is the invisible wall that prevents collapse, even in the face of the most intense chaos. For the soldier, this mastery over their own emotions is not a weakness, but a silent strength. They learn not to react impulsively, not to yield to anger or despair. Instead, they observe, take a deep breath, calculate the next steps, and only then act. This serenity does not arise from a cold or insensitive heart, but from a spirit forged in adversity, prepared to protect, lead, and endure. Emotional control, far from extinguishing humanity, is what enables them to remain human amidst inhuman circumstances. It is the essence that maintains their integrity and empathy even when everything around seems to crumble. But no technique stands firm on habit and endurance if it is not anchored in a greater purpose. The true strength of a soldier's discipline lies in the conviction that they fight for something greater than themselves, be it a nation, a cause, a people, or the brothers in arms marching alongside them. This awareness transforms orders into commitments and duties into vocations. When one understands that personal sacrifice can save lives, protect the innocent, or preserve peace, discipline ceases to be a burden and becomes an honor to be defended. During World War II, thousands of soldiers endured unimaginable conditions, not just out of duty, but out of unwavering loyalty to their companions and belief in freedom. This loyalty did not arise from grand speeches, but from simple and constant acts of discipline. The soldier who holds their position under bombardment, who shares their last ration, who refuses to abandon a wounded comrade, they do not act out of impulse, but from deep conviction. This same discipline resonates in civilian life. Professionals who follow rigorous routines, athletes who train daily even without motivation, parents who educate with patience and persistence, all apply the same principles that shape military spirit. The technique is universal: clarity of purpose, constant repetition, emotional mastery, and commitment to the collective. And just as in the battlefield, it is this discipline that transforms ordinary lives into stories of overcoming and growth. In a world marked by distraction, immediacy, and excessive comfort, cultivating discipline has become almost a revolutionary act. The lesson from soldiers is clear. True freedom is not doing everything one desires, but being the master of oneself, capable of acting with firmness and clarity even when the will wavers. Unbreakable discipline is not the exclusive domain of warriors. It is a virtue accessible to anyone who wishes to live with purpose, responsibility, and honor. To be disciplined is, at its core, to choose every day to be faithful to something truly worthwhile. And as soldiers silently teach, this daily choice, simple, firm, and constant, is the foundation that builds the true heroes of history, those who inspire generations to resist, to fight, and to never give up.